and welcome to First 7-Inch Club, episode 202. First 7-Inch Club is a podcast where we dig up 7 inches from the past within the realms of hardcore, punk, and metal, and discuss whether or not they're worth being remembered. We also provide facts and trivia that we get from the internet and our own personal experiences. We do our own research for this show in a very short time. So here and there things are wrong, but you got to deal with it because that's how it goes. I am Mike, and with me is Scott.
Mike, I didn't realize that a couple months ago, the voice of Space Ghost died.
Oh,
George Lowe. He's like a tall, bald. He looks like he's like a Herman Munster looking guy or whatever. I don't know why I was looking. Oh, you know why I was looking him up? Because I got. Did you watch Space Ghost when it was on? There was an episode that I don't remember. I think it was called Retardos. And it ends with him kind of singing it's almost like a tribute show, like a Jerry Lewis telethon type thing, where he's talking about how you can help retardos, and it gets real trippy and stuff. And I was like falling asleep while I was watching it, and then he kind of floats into frame and he goes, "Retardos, #1 forever." And it's like it's in my heart for the day I die. And I was like, oh man, I wonder, was that as good as I remembered it? Because I haven't thought about it since I saw it on TV in real life. And I looked it up, and he died. Just says he had health issues. Doesn't say what. Oh Jesus, the fucking gnarliest spider I have ever seen is on this desk coming right towards me. No, you don't get to do that shit.
Got all types of curses tonight.
It's cursed. This looks like a cursed spider, and it's going to go under my desk and then go into my legs. It's going to suck. Anyway, so yeah, so we lost a real one there. I think I assume, unless he had scandals that I don't know about. The other thing I was gonna talk about is in this. Oh, I'm going to swat the spider. I don't usually swat spiders, but this one. Oh shit! God. He got away.
Now he's pissed too.
I'm dead. Okay. Well, anyway. I'll talk until I can't talk anymore. So I was talking to my my guitarist, my friend, the other day, and I had this breakthrough, and I'm wondering if other people feel this way about things. That I think that I only have one slot for every kind of music. Mm-hmm. Like there's one slot in my brain for it, and the first one through that I like gets the slot, and then I don't like anything else. So and there's some stuff from when I was younger that breaks through that. I listened to all of Metallica when I was a kid, like bands that were the first ones. Mm-hmm. I listened to their whole catalog and I like it all pretty evenly, Anthrax, Metallica, the Big Four and all, Testament, stuff like that, Creator. But then as I got older and got into other stuff, the first Deicide album is the one I like. And then even though other ones were good, I don't need them. I got one. And the first, the first city pop song I ever heard is the same one as everyone else heard, Plastic Love. I don't think I need I like other ones I hear, but I'm well, I'd rather just listen to Plastic Love. So the reason this came up was because we were talking about the Bad Brains, and he's a fan of all the Bad Brain stuff, but mostly the old stuff, and doesn't like Quickness. I was like, man, Quickness is the only one I care about, because that's the new metal album that I listened to when I was a kid. And it's probably my first time ever hearing groove metal, period. And I'd never heard anything like that. I was I don't know when it came out, but I was a teen boy, and I seen these guys playing this Soulcraft, this weird groove metal song. I never heard anything like that. And then I got the tape out of a dollar bin, and I just loved that tape. That's it. I don't need another Bad Brains. And it's that way with almost everything. Jazz. There's the first hard bop album I ever heard was Giant Steps. It's the best, and usually I like to hear multiple horns, but that's only got the one sax on it. But that's the one I want to hear. If I'm listening to other jazz, I'm actually, I'd rather just listen to Giant Steps, and I can't really add new things to those old slots. I can make new slots. I can make entirely new slots. If I discover something totally new, I can make a new slot for it. But I don't think I can add another technical death metal band. I think I got one. I don't think I want another one. So I think that there's some people who aren't like this, and this is topical to this show because there's a thing about one of these members we're going to talk about, which brought this to light for me. Sort of made me think about it a little bit more. But Mike, do you think that you're able to continually add on to things that you like? Like if you find more of a band that you like and it's better, do you augment, or are you nah, I like the first one better?
No, I'm kind of like that with just bands in general, not so much genres, but there's a lot of stuff where I'll finally listen to somebody and it's their second or third record. Yeah. And I'm just oh, I love this. And I'll go back to listen to the first two, which are probably the first two are probably what, you know, people like about them. And then I'm just like, no, I don't like this. I'm not into this. And I just don't like anything except that one record by them. Like there was earlier in the year, I already forgot their name, but there was some kind of weird thing that popped up in my new releases that was like a Swedish kind of like goth rock band or like spooky rock band.
Yeah.
And with like a woman singer, and they just have a name like Coffin or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, who is this new band? And I looked them up, and they're like 6 albums deep at this point. And I was like, oh, I have so much music by them I could listen to. And I listened to like the first few records, and I was like, no, it's just this one. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just like this one. So I'm kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah, I think that it's maybe it's related to making music. That like once I've collected the card, I don't need more of the card. I just want to I want to go do something with it instead. Whereas people who are like maybe are more like consumers of music rather than makers of it, they'll just keep, you know, they have more space in their brain for it or something.
That's why I just I can never wrap my head around like people who still give Metallica a chance like 30 years later.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, there's so much other music out there. You don't need to check up on these guys anymore. You can move on.
One band that I can think of came back later with good stuff, and I like it better than the old stuff, and that's Napalm Death. Like they're the only band I can think of who came. You know, they went into a lull that kind of sucked for a while, and they came back with that album that had The Wolf I Feed on it. I was like, holy shit, this is way better than old Napalm Death. And I updated that file. That's the only one that I could update, really. But like when At the Gates came back is okay, you know, this like Carcass came back and it was good, but it's like I don't need that. I didn't need that.
Yeah,
they left with Heartwork. Or the Heartwork. Well, they left with Swan Song, but Heartwork was the good album that they made before they started to suck. So I didn't need them to come back and unsuck. They could just, you know, stay where they were.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like as soon as they hit a bad one, I'm just like, I'm out. I don't need to. I don't need to hang on these guys until they release another good one. I'll say also very topical is that Catharsis came back after 20 some odd years.
Yeah, and
they have the literal best comeback album of all time out of any of these hardcore bands who have made comeback albums 20 years later. Mm-hmm. So I'll give them, you know, their props, but it's still like, I mean, the Dead Guy record's pretty good too, but it's, you know, but like it's 1 out of every 1,000 of these bands are coming back and releasing something better. So
I think the fact that they're not mysterious, because, you know, when I was really into Dead Guy, you couldn't find much out about them.
Yeah.
And that's good, because it turns out they were just kind of dorks. They're just kind of like normal guys. And now that you see all this footage of them, like, you know, the one with them fighting with the hardcore guy at that show and stuff, they're just like, it probably wouldn't have been as exciting if I knew that they were just a bunch of regular guys. So it was the fact that they were this like powerful, burly sounding band that came out of nowhere and were not in any zines at the time, and were not like, they had a website that was weird and they didn't tell you anything, and it was mysterious. Now I know everything about them. Yeah. And the magic, the spell's gone. I can't read Dead Guy now.
Okay. If you want to reach us, you can do so at first7inchclub@gmail.com, or go to our Instagram, where it's much easier, at first7inchclub, and shoot us a message there. There's also a link tree theoretically to all of our other stuff that we really don't keep up with, but it's there. We do keep up with our Patreon though, patreon.com/first7inchclub. So you go there if you want to throw us a few bucks. You get a couple extra episodes a month, maybe some other things here and there, but you know, it's just a nice gesture. And I guess one of those things, we'll get to one of the bonuses in a few minutes, I guess. But yeah, that's our contact. I haven't really been up to much this past several weeks. I've become addicted to a baseball simulator. And I just play out of the park baseball all day, which is where you just manage a team. You don't even play the game, you just simulate. And, so yeah, if there's anybody out there who plays this game too, let me know, because I'd like to chat with somebody about it. But yeah, it's taken up all my time. The good news is that I have bought all of the rest of the records for the states. They're all, I have 3 of them. I think there was 5. So as long as the other 2 actually get here and they don't get mangled in the mail, we'll be done with this, I guess, by October, November, hopefully. So that's very good news. We can move on to some other stupid project. But
yep, we get to put all the little magnets on our RV because we've been to every state now.
And the West Virginia is still contentious. I think I have a solution to that. I'll get to that when we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But outside of that, that's it. So
just do a bluegrass record. There's got to be a bluegrass 7-inch.
No, it's everybody recommended that band Lincoln, because it's really the only notable band ever from West Virginia. But every time I look at the Discogs, the price just goes up and up and up and up and up, because I think it's the first 7-inch club influence where maybe the people who are trying to sell these records on Discogs are our listeners, and they're like, I'll just bump the price up a few dollars till he finally buys it. So I think I'm just going to cheat, and we're just going to do MP3s, because in my mind, I already did West Virginia, so I don't care, but I don't want to be a cheater and a loser to the listener. So and they don't care if we don't have the physical record. So
yeah, we're going to be the first compilation CD club that episode.
But yeah, so yeah, one of those perks you get with your Patreon is that I get to shout out your name once a month if you're a $5 subscriber, and so we're gonna do that now. And I know everybody loves this part, and we missed it last week, and I didn't want to not do it because I don't know, somebody might have been saving up their $5 for months and months just to get their name read. So now I have to do it.
Once you hear it, it's permanent. It's on the airwaves forever.
Yeah, you could bronze it, frame it, and do whatever you want with it. 311, never forget. Thank you. Aaron, good friend Aaron. Thank you. Alex B. Thank you. Alex Worldwide Keller. Thank you. Aaron Aaron, just Aaron with one A. Thank you. Ben K. Thank you. Brad GS. Thank you. Breaking Edge of Zima. Thank you. Brian. Thank you. Calvin. Thank you. Charlie Daniels. Thank you. As always. Chase T. Thank you. Cheech. Thank you. Chillbro Baggins. Thank you. Chris B. Chris R. Chris, the guy who went to school, Jumping John Elway. Thank you all. Cody Baggins Toss. Thank you. Again, don't know if that's a real name, so we'll see. Commissar. Thank you. Contraceptron, thank you. Damien, David from As Friends Russ, thank you. Dan B, thank you. I didn't know this. Damien used to sing for Shai Hulud before they got the giant boy.
That's kind of what I knew him for. And also, by the way, he participates in the Facebook group, which no one else does. So I was going to make an effort to try and resurrect that. So if anybody still chats on Facebook, because it's the only thing that if Facebook is good for anything at all, it's like bullshitting in those groups. Some of those groups are pretty fun. So this month I might make an effort to try and throw some bullshit in there for people to chat about. But I think it's just going to be me and Damien. I don't think anyone else is going to talk about it.
Yeah, everybody gave up on Facebook.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just toilet. Dan B, thank you. Dan G, thank you. Dave R, thank you. Dave State of Mind, we'll talk about you in a minute. Thank you. Dave V666, thank you. David R, old friend, thank you. Dillinger Escape Room, thank you. Iman, thank you. Ed S, thank you. Emma and Matto, thank you. Eric H, Eric S, both thank you. Riel, thank you. Fred Durst, as always, thank you. Fritz, thank you. Jeff L, thank you. GMG, thanks. Grant, thanks. Grant might be new. I don't know any Grants. That's not a name I come across often, so he might be a new one. So thank you, Grant. Ground Zero Salem, thank you. Shiro Breath, thank you. That's I don't know if that's a slur or something, so I hope it's not a slur. J Money, thank you. Jason K, thank you. Jason W, thank you. J E, thank you. Jeffrey R, thank you. Joe Camps, thank you. John A, thank you. John Torn, thank you. Jonah B, thank you. I saw I think we talked about Jonah on Family Feud. I saw him. He was on there. Family Feud's really bad now. It's a bad show.
Just when you were about to get me to start watching it too. What the hell, man?
It's really horny. Like all the questions are very horny, and I was like, this is fucking weird because it was like a celebrity Family Feud. So then I was like, maybe they only ask the horny questions to Celebrity Family Feud, which makes it even weirder. But then I watched a normal episode the other day, and they're just even more horny. And the way the game is set up now, it's just so dumb. It's just a bad show. Sorry, Jonah. Sorry that Family Feud stinks now, but I have to tell the people the truth.
That's the network equivalent of prestige television. That's how they've moved the needle, is to make game shows really horny.
Jonathan M, thank you. Jorsk, thank you. Joshua E, thank you. Joshua E might be a new one too. Joshua N, there's two Joshuas. I don't even remember one Joshua, but now there's two of them. Thank you, Joshua's. Justin W, thank you. Oh, Justin's a patron now. Hey, what's up, Justin from Cincinnati? So he does movies there. I'm ill prepared because I wasn't expecting to see Justin's name here, or else I would give him more of a shout out of where he does movies at in the Cincinnati area. But he's always screening cool movies at a theater in Cincinnati that I'll try and remember the name next time this comes up. KC, thank you. Keenan, thank you. Kessa, thank you. Kevin B, thank you. Kevin B's band No Division. Go check them out. They have shirts now. That's a big step in any band's career when they have a shirt.
I saw they like to post about the band we're going to talk about today, so they should be very excited about today's episode.
Yes, listener Subi, thank you. LP Loveless, thank you. I don't all the new patrons, I think. Manzerfaust Productions, thank you. Matt D, thank you. Matt G, thank you. Matt H, thank you. 3 Matts. Mosh Pit Steamroller, thank you. Mouth of Infinity, thank you. Mr. Chebyshev, thank you. Nate in Atlanta, thank you. Nicholas T, thank you. No Limit on the Words, thank you. On the Lips, please, thank you. R Kid, thank you. Paul, thank you. Phil and Salmo, as always, thank you. Philip L, thank you. Rob Cole, thank you. Sawyer, thank you. Scott J, thank you. Spider One for the band Power Man 5000, thank you. Spirit Killer, the band, thank you. Also a band that I think sells shirts, so you check out their shirts if you want. They are just written up in the Times Union, I believe. If you subscribe to the Times Union, there's a Spirit Killer right up in there. Strange Caffeine, also a band, thank you. Switchblade, Oops, I Tooted, thank you. Ted Napkin, thank you. Terry, thank you. Troy Blood of Beat, thank you. What's the 7-inch Dave, thank you. Will Farrell, Big Money Hustler, Zach C, and Zach W, thank you guys.
Justin's thing is called Outer Cinema.
Outer Cinema. I don't think that's the name of the theater, though, but that's
the theater is the Marymount.
Yeah, check out the Marymount Theater. He's doing like a fest coming up in a few months, the Psychotronic Fest.
And the Esquire Theater. He does it at 2 different theaters.
Esquire Theater. Esquire Theater, they're doing Psychotronic Fest there. It's like a few movies for a few days. So like 3 movies each day or some shit like that. So check that out if you're in the Cincinnati area. I assume there's not much else to do. So go watch some crazy movies. I'm just kidding. I went to Cincinnati a couple years ago. It was fine.
Okay. And also the article that's about Spirit Killer is worth a read. It's some of the strangest writing I have ever seen. It
is super weird. I assume I didn't want to say anything, but I don't know if that's one of Spirit Killer's friends or anything. But that dude had to be like 14 years old who wrote that. It's a real Zoomer's perspective on things. I think it's real weird. It's a real weird article.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, I almost forgot about our friend at stateofmindrecordings.com. Stateofmindrecordings.com is a website on the internet. It's a distro. It's a record label. They sell old records and new records and old records that have been repressed into new records, and they sell them all for very cheap prices, as well as very cheap $5 flat rate shipping, domestic shipping. No matter how many stupid records you get, it's always going to be $5 shipping, and that is you could really take advantage of that. It's Christmas is coming up. It's the holiday season coming up. You want to buy all your friends' records, this is the place to do it. You can save a lot of money on shipping. So go check out stateofmindrecordings.com, and every week I like to feature a record they're selling that you can go buy or just look at and buy something else. And this one is for Scott. It's a compilation called Policia, a tribute to the police.
Oh God.
Double LP featuring such bands. All Scott's favorite bands are on this. Fall Out Boy, Motion City Soundtrack, Under Oath, Copeland, and many more. The write-up on State of Mind doesn't specify if this is a tribute to the band The Police or just the regular
cops,
police. Just cops. So, your mileage may vary on this. It's, I'm not held accountable if you buy this and it turns out to just be a tribute to actual cops. Yeah. One of the records is half white, half blue, and that might be like a thin blue line kind of connotation. I don't know. But it's $26.50. You could take a chance on that. I know Scott is a fan of the Police, the band, so maybe he'll take a chance on it. But I figure that's a really interesting thing. I always come across looking through the old Maximum Rock and Rolls and Punk Planets and all that stuff. Always coming across some weird tribute CD that I'm glad I never knew existed until 25 years later. Because I saw one today for Oingo Boingo. Yeah. It had like Real Big Fish on it and a bunch of other real bad that era of ska on it. I was just like, fuck, this sounds like a nightmare.
That's what sucks is if they do a tribute to a band that has some kind of depth. I'm not saying you have to be some sort of like wizard to understand the Police. They're not that complicated, but there is some depth to their music, and like Oingo Boing is the same way. There's some depth to what they do, but you get real big fish to interpret it. It kind of shallows it out. Much like I'm sure the no motive cover of Synchronicity 2 on this record is really going to bum me out when I finally hear something. You know what else sucks is when you look at a comp like this and some of the bands are just black text, like they weren't even they weren't even important enough to have a Wikipedia entry anywhere. So this is going to be a real piece of shit, this comp, but I can't wait to hear it.
And it could be yours for only $26.50 at stateofmindrecordings.com.
My whole front page this morning was Bleach Everything. It's like 8 Bleach Everything records, which is like, I think it says it's people from Iron Reagan and Corn on Macabre, so it's probably funny. One of them damn funny records. Dr. Demento records. But what I'm going to talk about is, because this was topical to something that I encountered accidentally, which I almost wish I hadn't. So I'm like susceptible to existential dread very easily. I get very in my feelings when I see things about, immortality or about mortality and stuff. And there was a thread about like really disturbing industrial albums on something I was reading, and I found this record called "How Welcome Is Death to I Who Have Nothing More to Do But Die" by an artist named Condom. The artist name is Condom, but the record is gnarly. It's like his mother was dying of this horrible disease, and he took her picture like in the hospital, and she looks super gnarly, and he just like wrote all these like noise songs about like letting an old person die in the hospital and having escorted several old people to death. It takes a long time sometimes, and it really sucks, even if you really like that old person. So I love both my grandparents, but when they died, it took a long time, and that shit sucked. So like my first instinct when I saw that record was, oh, that's really cheap and gross. But also like, yeah, you should make that record because it fucking sucks. Hospitals suck. And so I was feeling bad about, aging and dying in the hospital. And I found this record by Chris Callahan called Mature Situations. Have you ever seen this?
No.
It's like a parody of the Dead Kennedys album cover with the two hands. I don't remember. I don't like Dead Kennedys, but it's a parody of that. It's called Mature Situations, Old Hands, and it's like a theme record about being old, and all the songs are about like like riding around in your scooter. It's called Forced Retirement, Scooters on the Streets, These Old Hands. I don't know if that's all the songs on there, but it's this novelty 7-inch kind of about I guess it's real hardcore. I guess it like sounds heavy, so you can check out some I'm sure Left 4 Dead influenced tracks about what it's like to get old and become irrelevant with a Dead Kennedys parody album cover. It's called Mature Situations, Old Hands. It's a 7-inch, so it's perfect for us.
There you go, stateofmindrecordings.com.
Yeah.
Speaking of old, we get to the record for tonight. It's the band Dare to Defy and their self-titled 7-inch from 1991 on Inner Rage Records. This is actually not Dare to Defy's first 7-inch. This is their second 7-inch. Their first 7-inch has one of the best 7-inch titles ever because it's called Steamrolling Neo-Nazis in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that's from 1989. This is the first release on Inner Rage Records. So
yeah.
So it is a first. So we got that going for us. Dare to Defy was a band from Philadelphia. By
the way, hold that other song title in mind. It's going to be ironic in a few minutes.
Oh, I know. But they started in the late 80s and they were around until the late 90s. They were around for a long time. I was actually kind of surprised by how little about Dare to Defy was on the internet, because they were never like a huge band when I was growing up. But I knew who they were, and they were on comps, and like I'd see their records in the store and stuff. But I think time has kind of forgotten Dare to Defy, which I don't know. You could take that how you want. I don't know if it's a big loss, but it's kind of weird because every single hardcore band with any longevity from the 90s at this point is kind of remembered fondly again. And I don't know. The record we're talking about tonight, it doesn't really sound much like the Dare to Defy I remember. The Dare to Defy I remember got a little more metallic and I guess a little tighter, I guess. But this is, some of their early stuff. I expected this not to be the same. So So yeah, this was an interage. Well, an interage, but so I found out some stuff about these guys, not a lot, but Sean Judge was the singer, and I think this was the last thing he was on. They replaced him. They might even have two other singers at some point, but I think he was out after this 7-inch. I don't think he did anything musically after this. He's a regular dude now. He lives in New Hampshire. He takes a lot of pictures of nature. I think he has, a family or at least a wife or something. He's like a truck driver for a food company. Pretty regular guy. I found him because somebody posted the Dare to Defy 7-inch in a hardcore group he was in, and he left that hardcore group, because it says he's a former member of the hardcore group and if you look at his Facebook, there's not much that would even give you a hint that he was ever into hardcore. So yeah, I think he has totally left this life behind.
Yeah, he has pretty lightweight posting history compared to almost every other member that I found in this band. He's like a sort of a breath of fresh air. I think if you dig back to about 2020, him and his buddy have a little back and forth about how they should leave America if Biden wins, which seemed like a little bit of a red flag. But everything else is fine. He keeps growing. He seems like a pretty progressive guy. That's a wash. Nobody needs to be pro Biden. That's fine. And his most recent post is all like, it's a beautiful close up of a moth. So fuck it. I'm going to say Sean Judge. A-okay. No problems.
I don't know about that, but Next up on drums is Jeff Met. Ty is probably the more infamous member of this band.
Yeah.
Met was the guy who was behind Too Damn Hype Records, Chord Zine, which used to be Too Damn Hype Zine, and then they changed the name to Chord, and it became like a little more pro, and they would have like interviews with like rappers and stuff too. And he was also, I know he was in Bad Luck 13 for a minute. Back in the day, like I used to talk to Matt on AOL every once in a while, and he was a really cool dude. He would send me like promos and stuff. He sent me the infamous Bad Luck 13 videotape that kind of like skyrocketed them to infamous superstardom, I guess you would say. And now I figured he would still be on the internet. I mean, he was on AOL, so he's a very internet-y guy. Also a graffiti guy, if you don't know, but he's on there. He has a LinkedIn that says it says something like looking for opportunities, which is, I didn't know you could put that on LinkedIn. I think put like a job, and then it's like, I guess he imports dick pills. I guess that's what he's up to now.
Yeah.
His Instagram is like he's selling like shirts that he makes that are whatever. And then his last 3 posts are all clips of Fox News. There's no comments, so I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's posted and make fun of him, but because you never know when people post that's Fox News, if it's for comedy or what. But I don't think it is. I think he's just one of those guys now, and that's why you don't name your 7-inch curb stomping neo-Nazis in the 90s, because you tend to have like a 35% more chance of aligning with Nazis at some point in your life. So that's what happens, unfortunately. I was really bummed out to see that.
Yeah, you can withdraw that whole benefit of the doubt. You can just you can curb stomp that benefit of the doubt. So he's still a graffiti artist, I guess. I didn't think you could still be doing graffiti in your 50s, but I guess he still does it. And he was selling boner pills for a while, but the domain sex pill shop that he was using has been seized by the government.
Oh wow!
And he no longer mentions boner pills anywhere that I saw, despite that being the main thrust of his LinkedIn. I think he might have abandoned that LinkedIn. He had a Facebook account. The first Facebook account I found of his that was active till around 2022 had a lot of really hot-brained right-wing posting and marketing of his Etsy shop side by side. No space between those two things. And it's all kind of like direct-to-garment novelty items and stuff like that. There's a few hardcore-related things, but it's all kind of like novelty stuff. And I saw where he got immediately heated at the guitarist from Crisis, who was on Too Damn Hype at some point.
Yeah.
He accused him. He said, "Oh, I heard you were a right winger now," and Met let him have it. "I'm not a right winger. Blah blah blah. I just see the world for what it is." But that kind of stuff. So officially, I won't say he's a right winger because he seems to not like that. Yeah. But most of his posting up until then is there's COVID denial. There's pro Kyle Rittenhouse. There's election denial. And hey, He says Tom McDonald is the greatest DIY success story since Discord Records. And that was before I discovered his more recent account, which is just mask off. Just to this day, it's all just a waterfall of pro-Trump posting. So officially, I cannot say he's a right winger, but he posts as though he is interested in the right wing. Yeah. And that's why we're kind of going out of order from what I envisioned. I thought Sean would be later. That's why I was specifying that his posting history is more benign.
Yeah, what are you going to do? These old guys. So the only other guy I have any info on, and it's not even really info, it's imaginary info, is Greg Thomas, the guitarist. Mm-hmm. So hopefully Scott could back this up, but I don't think he's the guy, but I found a Greg Thomas youth pastor for Times Square Church, and a lot lines up. The age lines up. He this Greg Thomas went to Seton Hall, which is Philadelphia adjacent. Mm-hmm. Same age and everything. There's only like one. The only picture of Greg that you can find is the same one that's in the 7-inch, which is just a photocopy. Yeah. So you can't really tell, but sorta, maybe it could be the same Greg, but I didn't find any real information because Greg Thomas is a very common name. So I'm hoping Scott is going to be like, yes, he is that youth pastor.
No, he's the one I couldn't find one single thing on, okay. And I found a bunch of Greg Thomases who line up. I found a boxer who looked the part. I found somebody who was there was a criminal ring that were like hiding the elderly people in their basement, and there was a guy who looked, but the age was all wrong. He was like 10 years off or something like that. But I couldn't find this one. I didn't know. Nobody who is connected to other members of Dare to Defy is friends with anybody named Greg Thomas online, so I couldn't find him.
The other bassist or the other guitarist is just named Jim. So I doubt you didn't find anything on Jim, did you?
No. So I found Sean made a post that said he had it was a picture of him as a young hardcore guy, and you could see like jeans around his head, and he said that's Jim on my shoulders, but nobody named Jim liked it. So I couldn't find a definitive Jim. There is a James Ailing who's friends with all these guys and likes all their posts. I don't know if he's that guy or not. He's probably not, but I'm just gonna pretend he is, because he's a cool guy who does like weird artwork in his 50s and goes to like Trump and ICE protests. So he's such an uncomfortable fit for this crew that I'm gonna just pretend it's him. And then I found Scott Baxter.
Yep,
the bassist. Yeah. So if you look him up, the first thing you find is an article by this bozo named Thrash Metal IQ. Who's an online metal record reseller who bought Scott's entire collection of thousands and thousands of mint condition metal records.
Ooh.
The collection looks awesome, and it's for sale because Scott has passed away from cancer a couple of years ago.
Oh, man.
And from all the images on the site, it looks like he might have been like a veterinarian or worked in a veterinarian clinic or something like that. There's a lot of pictures of him with animals and like scrubs on. But there's nothing definitive about that. But today's episode is totally stocked with both overt and low-key Trump guys. Thrash Metal IQ, super big Trump guy. He has a giant fuck Joe Biden flag in his office, and everyone just comments on all his posts what a douchebag he is for all this stuff. And then Scott also seems to have gone to his grave posting occasional like right-wing and pro-Trump bullshit, and that's the only thing on his timeline other than posting metal videos. But his last post was a creator song called Blind Faith, which rules. So his taste in metal, 100% solid. All the records that I saw that guy bought, great records. He had a very nice collection of metal records. So his metal taste was okay.
This is the first, man. We've never gotten 3 Trump guys in one band. That's a real bummer. I don't even want to talk about the record at this point. Fucking super bummed out. I guess we do, though. So yeah, this was on Inner Age Records, which is a French record label. Ran by Jean-Marc Dablin, and I believe we talked about it before because this is the same record label that the first Starkweather 7 was on, and we talked about that. They put out like a lot of seminal kind of hardcore back in the day, and I don't know how that happened. Like I guess this French guy just had his ear to the streets. I mean, they didn't put out a lot. There's only 17 releases, and they seem to be very spaced far apart, but they put out the first Overcast 7-inch, which I would absolutely love to do Overcast on this show, and we probably will, and it's going to be a real cop-out because it's going to be like their third 7-inch or something, because this first one is way out of my price range. And,
most affordable 7-inch club.
And spoiler alert, I think that 7-inch sucks too. So if I ever talked about Overcast, I wouldn't want to talk about something sucky they did, because I love Overcast, and I'd be really bummed out to talk about the one thing they did that kind of sucks. So same reason why we've never done False Silent, outside of also being kind of pricey, is that their first 7-inch is really bad. And they will admit it, so it's fine. They also put out the Fury of 5 Telling It Like It Is CD EP. 5-minute major. Judgment Day NYC, which I bought with this Dare to Defy 7-inch. And I always pick both of them up. And I'm always like, I don't want to do this to Scott for both of them, because like, I'm just like, this is like, I know what Judgment Day sounds like. I think Scott might like Judgment Day more than I assume he liked Dare to Defy, but I don't think it's going to be by much. But yeah, I don't know how this French man hooked all this up, but he put out a lot of hardcore back in the early 90s. Yeah.
I found an interview with him in a zine called Hard Way, which I think was also a French hardcore label. And they talk about it as though they aren't. They talk about Hard Way, the label, as though it's this other entity. So I don't understand it. It's kind of, it's almost like The Rock or something talking about himself in third person. So I like the interview because like it's almost, he's a French guy. So if I just think of him as sounding like Serge Gainsbourg or something like that, it's very funny because he's very like non-committal and not really like all that excited. I shouldn't say all excited. It just sounds like he doesn't really want to talk about any of this, even though he seems to love it still. Like he's really into New York hardcore. But anytime the interviewer drills him about like one of his records or anything like that, he'll just be like, yeah, that's nice. They went on to big things. Nice for them. Great. And he's like, and they ask him about, I can't remember, one of the bands on his label. And he goes, I don't know. I never listened to that record. It's a record he put out. He's like, yeah, I didn't really listen to that. I haven't listened to that in a while. I didn't really like that record that much. And then he talks about like other bands. He's like, yeah, I wish I hadn't put out this band. He doesn't name them, but he's like, there's some records I wish I hadn't put out. Some bands I don't like that much. A couple of them are okay. But he sang for that band Drowning. And he talks about that in the interview. And when they asked about it, he's like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't any good at music and they were starting to suck. So we parted ways on good terms and it worked out for everybody. And I'm making him sound like an idiot, but I think he's awesome. I think he's like a very chill guy. And the interview is very, very weird, has a weird tone. And they ask him about moshing. And he talks about moshing, and this guy is old as hell. He has an Instagram. You can find it. He's like we're all old. He actually kind of looks like an older guy. And he talks about his favorite bands to mosh for were like All Out War, Fury of 5, and Cro-Mags and Leeway. And he loves to do the floor punch in the windmill. He loves it. He's very proud of the Starkweather. He acknowledges that's one of the biggest strokes of luck he had. And that it's the only band from his label that he still keeps tabs on and goes to see him live. And I'm not trying to be mean about this, but he is legitimately like dad looking guy and still goes out in the world in France wearing like Outburst and New Jersey Bloodline shirts, like New Jersey Bloodline long sleeves. Looks awesome. So I salute this guy.
Okay. We can now get this record out onto a tray. Nice. Hard one. So this was put out in 1991. It's not much to look at. You have a stark white cover with a one picture of a show with a very thick Microsoft Word processor default border around it, where you just didn't even change the size. It's just this thick border, and it says Dare to Defy and just big, thick, blocky letters, and they spaced out the Defy so it was as long as the Dare 2 on the top. So that's kind of I like how it looks now.
Like the hard way, like by putting spaces in between the words.
I like how it looks now because it just looks so authentically old. Yeah, but it's obviously not much. In the show itself, the picture of the show, you can't this could be any band. I don't think it is even Dare to Defy. I don't think there's pictures of an actual band in this picture. I think it's just people that are at a show and there's some moshing going on. So this could be anybody. The back is a picture of a wall with some graffiti on it, some sick tags and graffiti and some bombs. Just another pretty default font with just old style, like names of the songs and little credits. And the other thing that's charming about this is the picture, the back cover photo doesn't even take up the whole back cover. So there's a big, like 2 inches on the bottom of just white space that they couldn't even like center the photo or anything like that. The good news about this being so plain is that they just had like the record pressing plant do the labels themselves. So it has those nice, real formal, like Blue Note Records looking record labels where this looks like like a record your grandma would listen to when you take it out. And they spelled Dare to Defy with a 2 on that, which is way cooler. I don't know if
that's the only place it shows up like that anywhere on the label.
Yeah. And that's it. And then outside of that, there's like a little photocopy insert with their pictures and thank yous on one side, and then straight up typewriter typed lyrics on the other side. The Sean and Met's pictures are pretty good, like as far as photocopying goes, and the other ones are just they look like when you actually use the photocopy filter on Photoshop, and it's just so fucked up you can't tell anything. But yeah, that's it. I can't rag on it because it's so old, and I like how it looks. Compared to the rest of my 7-inch collection when you flip through it, and you have all these big beautiful graphics and all this stuff, and then you have this record that looks like it was homemade, and that's pretty cool. But not much to look at overall.
I think it's amazing that this exact format of layout is back.
Yeah.
Like this is like the font and all. Like this is a Drain record.
Yeah.
Or this is like actually Drug Church did a record that looks exactly like this. I don't know what it was called, but it's one of their more, I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago. So, and there's some other band, there's some other band from like a year or two ago that has this exact layout. And there's one of the things, there's some guy whose name I forget who got me thinking about ska again, because he made like a punk record called Something Dreams, and then made a whole ska version of it called Ska Dreams. And it's the same layout as this. It looks just like a Drain record too. And people are going to know exactly who that is. He's like a famous guy that I'm blanking on. It's like I'm blanking on Elvis Presley or something like that. He's like some well-known guy that you guys are all going to know. And I don't care if it's good or not. That's irrelevant to the chat. I'm talking about graphic design here, everybody. I want to thank Mike for getting us back to our core competency here. We drifted pretty far over the last handful of episodes, but we're back on solid ground with dumb shit like this. I really like this layout. It was comforting. As soon as I didn't even listen to a note, as soon as he sent me these files, I looked at those covers like, oh, thank God. We're back. We're back, baby. And like Mike said, this is a great photo, but it could just be in a pile of other photos that someone else took at a show. It's just absolutely random chance. They just grabbed one and now it's a record cover forever. It's just them and their buddies. It's not even that good of a photo. There's somebody doing an impossible stage dive because there's no stage. No. I can't tell. This could be AI. It's just like a jumble of people and there's a show happening in all directions. There, you can't tell where it's coming from. But there he is, stage diving in the middle of nowhere. At the back cover, some graffiti. It doesn't look like, I don't see the word Met anywhere, so he didn't get up on his own record. The heavy Helvetica font on that photo is awesome, though. It's really simple, but the way it's done, it almost looks like I'm about to watch like a 1976 documentary on graffiti. Because the way it's got that kind of aged look, the way it's overlaid with that stuff. It's like, especially, is the paper this gray looking in real life?
No, the cover is, the cover, I don't know if it was meant to be this color, but it's definitely a little aged. It's definitely a little off-white than normal
got some
white.
Cigarette stains. Some cigarette stains. So then we get some real washed out photos of the Dare to Defy boys, other than Sean. Sean, Met is pretty clear. Sean is in 4K.
Yeah.
He is crystal clear. You can see every pore on his skin for some reason. They I don't know what happened to the photocopier that they got this clear. And then it's all typewriter and press implant defaults. They probably got to choose the beautiful royal blue that's on the label, I would guess. You could probably tell them what color you want, but the default text and everything else is just done by the label. And like I said, Dare to Defy with the number 2 only shows up there. It's nowhere else. It's not anywhere else that I see it in relation to this band. But this is some classic shit. This is some classic 80s hardcore defaults. And at least for the next few minutes, I'm all about it. I'm really glad we're back here.
Okay, now we get into the music. That's 4 tracks. This is full sound. I think we hit about 6 minutes on each side, so you get a lot of music on here. The first track is called Action Speaks. starts off with the acoustic guitar intro that was, kind of cool at the time because of Metallica. And everybody wanted to put that acoustic guitar intro. And I knew as soon as I heard this that it wasn't going to make sense with what they actually played. And it doesn't make any sense at all. But I give them credit because they go from the acoustic guitar intro into a hardcore intro, and now we're intro on top of intro. So a lot of intros. I believe that other band, that Syracuse band that killed somebody, I think they did the same thing too.
Oh right, yeah.
So I think the first thing anybody will notice about this song or anything is the guitar sound. I'm gonna let Scott explain that because I don't know how that is produced, but it's wretched. It is the worst. It's the worst sound. Like I was like, oh fuck, like. It sounds like, because the guitar sounds like when you have a piece of dust, like a little dust ball on your needle on the record, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I fucked this up. And then then I was like, I listened to everything else, and all the rest of the instruments and the vocals are clear, so it is just a choice to have the guitar sound like that. So I was like, oh, I'm off the hook. It's not my problem. The song itself is about shit talkers, talking shit, beating them up for talking shit. It's pretty standard. What at the time in 1991 would be referred to as metallic hardcore, although it's not really what people in the modern days think of metallic hardcore, but that's what it would have been in 1991. The vocals are very Troy-core, which obviously wasn't a thing, but it's the very like kind of neglect, like you will do it, blah blah blah. It's
on your feet, boy.
It's very Wartime Manor, so I assume they had the same influence. Whoever influenced Wartime Manor is also influencing Dare to Defy. They really let the bass dominate. They just like that's the loudest thing in the mix is the bass, and it's not doing anything you want to hear. Like you're not like, oh man, I'm so glad this bass is so loud in the mix, because it's very boring hardcore bass, and it doesn't sound good either. So that's bad. I do like that there's some crew vocals come in, and you could tell they're overdubbed, where they just like had some guys in a room like shout shit kind of in time, and then just put that whole block over the rest of the song, so it's kind of off time with the singer, because they probably just shouted in silence and didn't have any cues, and then they put it over the whole music, and it sounds kind of weird and fucked up. I mean, this is totally not my thing. I don't really like old meat and potatoes hardcore, even though a lot of people say it's too metal to be meat and potatoes, but to me it's meat and potatoes, and I especially don't like it when the guitar sounds like an instrument that's not even from this planet. So it's not good.
Yeah, so I can't hold my arms out wide enough to indicate the gulf between the production and the meaning of the dramatic clean channel intro and the production and the meaning of the heavy part that follows it. It is so unrelated. The intro could be on a Testament album. Nobody would bat an eye. It's like super clean. It's amazing. But then the heavy stuff comes in, and it's like, so the guitars sound like mosquitoes. They're fuzzy. Yeah. Fuzzy. It's like they're barely there, and they're just fuzz. And the bass is just raw straight into the desk. We haven't talked about the Sound Gear bass, the Ibanez Sound Gear bass sound in a while, but here it is. I mean, this might be too early for that, but this just sounds like they just plugged it in without an amp or anything like that. The drums are okay. They're a little too low. And then the vocals actually sound okay. They're just, way on top of this, bass only, bass guitar only mix. I don't like the vocals, but of all the things to mix well, the vocals are exactly right. They don't even peak. They don't like clip. This is the era when someone would be fucking up heavy vocals. They wouldn't know how to do it right, and it'd be all like fucked up, but it sounds fine. They even have that little dose of like 80s delay, so you're listening to like a late 80s record. Yep. This is very all-purpose late 80s metallic hardcore, like meat and potatoes, I guess, but I don't even know if I'd call it meat. This isn't meat and potatoes either. It's more just like it's like a Swiss Army knife in the drawer or something. I don't know what the fuck this is, but they spend all their metal credits on the intro. So the metal is in quotes because it's like the intro is pretty heavy, and the delicately plucked clean guitars, I guess, then after that, it's just kind of like a sort of upbeat New York hardcore song, not really metallic or anything like that. It's just jugga riffs, burly man barking on top, and pretty clear, like even the bounce riff. It's got the sick of it all kind of bounce riff. So none of that is for me, not at all.
Next track is called Man vs. Man. This one starts off a little funky bass line. Get a little funky bass. Bass gets a little chance to shine. And then it's, goes into regular hardcore. Very simple, slow, fast hardcore song. It's 1991, so it's not like when we would see this in, say, 1998 and see like an opening band do this and just be like, Jesus fucking Christ, like what are you doing? This sucks. So I can't really rag on it too much, but it's just very simple. This is a roundabout song about racism, which three-quarters of these guys probably actually four-fifths of these guys probably don't agree with this song anymore. But I just say it's roundabout because I know it's about racism, but it takes a long time to get there. It's a lot of other like hardcore tropes thrown in before we get to the punchline that is about racism. Get another cameo by those overdubbed crew vocals where they're just shouting into the nothingness, and another cameo by the reverb delay 80s vocals. So there's that. That's probably the only thing that I would take from this, is that the positive is the end with the delayed vocals. But that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening in this intro because it's like there's something. I think it's the interaction. So the bass is doing something and the guitar is doing something, and I don't think they agree. So it makes it sound like the Joy Division pedal or something. I think they're just out of tune with each other, but it's kind of cool. It's an effect that you couldn't do it on purpose, especially because the rest of the song sounds out of tune as well. So it's all kind of just out of tune after that. I like the dramatic riff in this song quite a bit, and the weird bass production even makes the fast parts kind of fun because he's doing this dorga bass thing over this fast ripping hardcore part. It's fun. I don't think they wanted it to be fun. Like, I'm enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying a side effect or something, but I liked it. Sean seems to run out of steam almost exactly halfway through this track. The first half of the song is kind of like the normal like upper register, like, barking vocals, and then he kind of like runs out of it and just kind of goes until the song is over. Like, he just sort of bark speaks instead of bark shouting until he's out of gas. But yeah, we're 2 for 2 on kind of like sparse and unpredictable gang vocals, which I didn't think about it, but it is like maybe they were just standing in a booth and a guy was just like holding up a 3, 2, 1 fingers. They just shout a word. They just pop up wherever the hell they feel like it in several places on this song. I like that too.
Then you flip it over to side B, and the first track on side B is called Donut Shop Posse. Couldn't guess this is about how the cops stink. Another, I guess, controversial opinion if you ask these guys now, because now it would be how the cops are great. But what are you going to do? You when you get older, you get more mature and become more racist, and that's just how life works. They play as fast as they can on this one. They just fucking play as fast as they can. It's also not super fast, but they try to play as fast as they can. Unfortunately, that leads to the singer trying to say as many lyrics as he can think of as fast as he can, And this is where I noticed he gets a little winded and bored, where he's just like, ugh, 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 ugh.
Yep.
And that's your own doing, man. You didn't really need to do all those lyrics. You could have just did half of them and worked out the same. Another not so great song though.
I think the formula is starting to slip on this track. I think this is a ripper with fast riffs and fast lyrics. No metal, no stomps, no mosh that I can remember. And Sean is doing his like New York hardcore Grover voice, and it becomes a real handicap because he's doing a voice.
Yeah,
he's doing like, and then, if you start to try to sing fast, and you start to notice the edges of what you're doing, and it doesn't hold up very well. And also, like Mike said, he runs out of gas halfway through the track again. That's the part where they repeat the entire song again, like they do the thing where they just sort of start the song over and it's telling. I could see where things went wrong, but I get throwing in the combo breaker of a fast song on this. But I think the cracks really show in this song.
Yeah. So the final track is called "Slow Plunge." That's not to be confused with Clunge Plunger, or that band we talked about last week. This is Slow Plunge. This one got that stomp, got some stomping in it, so it's stomping. This is automatically my favorite song. This song's about how religion stinks. Unfortunately, the downfall of this song is there's way too much guitar on it. It's fucking painful. They're really these guitarists are really trying to, show off their skills, and it's just it's like such a horrible sound, and it ruins the whole thing. I do like at the end they kind of rebound with some cool thrash crew reverb vocals, so it's like it has that real thrashy kind of sound to it, 80s thrashy kind of sound. So that's cool. But I mean, if I had to pick a favorite song, it would be this one. But it's none of these songs are really my favorite. But if I had to, it would be this one.
Yeah, the sound is becoming a saw trap for your ear. It's I'll give this track a golf clap because this is a huge comeback for them after the last song. I think it's cool that they saved all their juice for the end of the record. Like we hit a streak. I don't think it was any of the recent ones, but we hit a whole streak where the early records just got worse and worse. Like the second side was just they had nothing left at the end. But Dare to Defy left some fuel in the tank for the last track, and it's cool. This one's all chugga riffs.
Yep.
Very pure chug and really heavy Grover vocals. He lined it up for this one. He's like, I'm coming in, I'm Grovering down as hard as I can. Gang vocals aplenty, and they even hit you with my first metallic hardcore riff, the one that's like that. It's you've played it. If you've ever held a guitar, you played this riff. It kind of has the sheen of, epic, evil, metallic hardcore that's going to come in the future that made jeans get very wide just a year or two later. I don't think most of the record before this had that sound. So you can hear a little bit of that. You can hear the unseen Holocaust bubbling up in this track. And the song ends with them just kind of repeating the beginning, which is boring. But just before that, they hit you with the simultaneous magic of an out-of-tune chug that I love, and the Biohazard halftime to double time pickup, which is something that even a hating-ass bitch like me can appreciate.
And there you go. There's Dare to Defy, self-titled 7-inch from 1991 on Inner Rage Records. At the end, they usually do a little rating system where I say either throw it in the trash, listen to it on streaming, buy it in the bargain bin, buy it for full price, or buy it for collector's prices. There's several copies of this on Discogs, but since it was technically a French label, most of the copies are in Europe. You can get the cheapest one you can get in America is $3, and I will say that is too much money for this. This is not a $3 record. I always find this stuff interesting just because I've said it a million times, but just in case this is your first time listening, I find this period of hardcore incredibly interesting because not only is it forgotten about, but it's also all very weird to me too, because people didn't really know what the fuck they're doing after the initial big wave of Judge and Youth of Today and all that stuff, and they weren't really sure what to do in the 90s. So for that, it's interesting to listen to. I do think the guitar sound kind of ruins any enjoyment like people who are more attuned to this music would be into. I think it's just unlistenable. So I never want to say throw it in the trash, even though it's pretty easy for me to say that with Trump people. But listen to it on streaming. You can't really. I assume it's on YouTube somewhere. I was really surprised that this band has like no real internet footprint as far as streaming goes outside of like YouTube rips. And as I said in the beginning, I also found it weird that this band is kind of forgotten about. And, now I don't think it's such a bad thing. But in all honesty, their later stuff is better. It's more metallic. Maybe you wouldn't like it if you're more into hardcore. But the later stuff definitely sounds better. And I don't know the political affiliations of their second singer, so maybe he's one of the good ones. So I don't know, but yeah, this is a total skip. You could listen to it for curiosity reasons, but on streaming or something. But I don't suggest even paying $3 for this.
Yeah, I won't keep you hanging, gang. This sounds bad, and I don't like the singing that much. So there you go, 2.5 points on the tin fish scale for me. And then you can go home. But Mike and I have discussed on a few prior releases that we've talked about that there aren't too many things that can snap me back to a situation of high school quicker than hearing like a 1989 to 1991 early local mosh record. It's such a specific, like, haunted, echoey sound that the recordings are usually bad. The vocalist usually hasn't figured it out. The guitars are usually fizzy. This goes a step further. It usually sounds really distant, and somehow all of us knew how to play the same like 20 riffs and beats. It doesn't matter where we grew up, like what we were listening to. How is this possible? This is like we've covered probably 5 or 6 different states where this exact record was made over and over, all at the same time. And all those states are pretty close to each other, and they all spawn the same kind of like giant pants spin kick sound at the same time with the same kind of beats and stuff. I knew how to do this stuff. I knew how to play these kind of riffs. I wasn't listening to like Cro-Mags or Madball or anything like that. I would just listen to like metal. And Urban Discipline, I know that's like 92, so that's too late. So what was it, Mike? Was it Primus? What taught us how to do this?
I honestly do not know. I don't know what it was. I think it was just crossover bands or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's like stuff like, Prong and Helmet and stuff that had mass appeal, but I don't know. I just can't figure out what. But this sound, the sound of a band like this and a recording like this is haunting to me. It's like listening to some ancient historical blues record from like the 10s. And you understand that nobody on that record, or even in the building where that record was being made, none of them are alive. From soup to nuts, everyone involved with that record is dead now. And you're listening to just a ship adrift. There's nothing in there. And some of these guys and their engineers are probably still alive, but not inside. Not inside anymore. They got heavier after this. I have the Philly Dust Crew record. I got the East Coast Assault somewhere, and it's these songs. I think again. I think it's the same stuff they play on here, but just heavier and better.
Yeah.
And that might even have the singer Les. His name's James, but he goes by Les. He or Sean or both get better at the Grover growl, and that stuff all sounds okay to me. I never heard their later stuff when I think they get really metallic, right? Don't they get like death metal metallic towards the end? That's probably what took them off the board. Yeah. Is people didn't want that shit. And people don't want it now. If they look back at a band now, they don't want to hear a band that actually got really heavy and serious. They want to hear like, nonstop mosh. Like really simple-headed mosh. So if you're a grown-up mosher, if you're someone for whom even the tank top was too hot, and you had to get down to just your skin and your enormous pants to do some spin kicks. And you should also be 50 now, and probably no one wants to see you shirtless anymore. This record will spark joy for you. This is going to bring you someplace. And you might not listen to it a second or third time, but you'll hear the same electronic voice phenomenon on this record that I'm hearing. It'll creep you out. For you, I would say this is maybe a 7 out of 10 for you. That's a little generous. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. For me, on the Tin Fish scale, it can be nice to visit the past, but it's even nicer to leave. So this is a 3 out of 10 for me.
And there you have it. Next week, we will be back on our stately tour. I think we're going to be doing South Dakota. We're conquering the Dakotas. So we'll do South Dakota, then North Dakota, and then they're going to be done. So we'll be doing Burned Up, Bled Dry next week. So check that out. I think it's the only band people recommended from South Dakota because it's the only band from South Dakota. So we'll be doing them. Until then, Scott, do you have any last words?
I never remember which of the Dakotas are like oil field millionaire things, where you go and you get you have a terrible, debilitating, shitty job, but you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a minute. So I'm hoping that everybody in the band, when we go to look them up, that all their photos are of them with like awesome F-350 trucks, like the guy from what's that Canadian?
Oh, Fubar,
when they have the buddy who does that and he comes back with the big. I want it to be nothing but that, like awesome purple camo puffer jackets. And just weed stickers on everything, and like the best shoes, the best possible shoes. I'm hoping all these guys are that.
Well, okay. Until next week, fuck Charlie Daniels.
Singing this human, jump on the final, no, that is silent.